Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of 4-Wheel Builds. And today I've got some really good news. Behind me is a Volkswagen Tcross, which has just come back from the paint shop. Let's go take a look at it.
And there it is, all painted one color, so we no longer have that orange bumper bar. I'm not sure if you can tell, but the hood and the fender are now the same color. Now the hood has been taken off, so the gap needs to be adjusted, and it's open now for the time being. But take a look at this, guys. The paint is flawless. It is silky smooth, and the blue on it looks so good. It is very, very eye-catching. Really glad that we got this color. I think the Tcross in this color is the best. I'm a sucker for blue. If you recall, the blue Subaru BRZ TS, that also had a nice blue. And here's the fender that we had purchased. That was a little bit sort of dinged up in this area. That's all been nicely fixed up and blended onto the door.
So guys, I'm really happy about the quality of the paint job. Once again, it's been knocked out of the park by the local paint shop. They do really great work. But now let's move on to getting this car completed. So today what we need to do is actually take off this front bumper bar. As you can see, where the halogen lights are meant to be, there's great big holes. Parking sensors are missing. The VW badge is missing. All the stuff that we took off, now we're going to put everything back. We also need to put in the actual fender liners, and also put this trim, this plastic trim around the front wheel arch. Okay, so let's start things off with taking off this front bumper bar. So what we have to do is actually unclip it from the clips that are behind this, plus there's clips all along this front headlight, and there's 5 T25 screws up the top here. Plus the paint shop has put in some plastic ties, so we've got to find all those and get those cut as well. Here's a close-up of the actual location where the bumper clips in. As you can see, the bumper just slides in there underneath the headlight, plus all along here and along there. Let's get this bumper bar armed, install all the components that we need there, and let's get it back on the car. Not quite sure, guys, but I mean the car's done just around 50,000 k's now, but the discs and pads are already worn out. And the disc has actually got some deep grooves in it, so now we'll take those off and get those replaced. We've got ourselves a set of Brembos, discs and pads to replace. So the first thing we're going to do is actually just clip this into place. So these are the actual frames for the halogen light. So that's one, and now let's do the other one. Alright, now let's go grab our halogens and get those installed. And there's 2 screws that hold this in place. So that's one. And now the right hand side. Okay, the next thing I've got is the parking sensor wiring loop that goes in the front. I always like to lay it out. Essentially all the plugs will reach. And then I look for the spots where these crocodile clips are sort of go onto. So I can see one right there, one right there, and that's the sensor that goes there, yeah, right there. Once you lay these things out, it tells you the story as to where these needs to go. Alright, so now the next thing we've got is the parking sensors. Some are straight, and these have a 90-degree bend. And it should just clip in nice and tight. And lucky last. So I think the next thing we're going to do is right here we have a radar. So this is the actual sensor that detects for the adaptive cruise control. Okay, with the radar module, we'll put it on once the bumper is actually on the car. The cable that's here, we should be able to grab this through the hole here and then mount the radar from the outside along with the actual badge itself. Let's go and now fit the bumper and then we'll fit the radar after that. Alright, so let's get the bumper fitted. This light needs to be moved in a little bit more. Other than that, I think we're good. Okay. Radar cable can be fed through here. That clicked in. Okay. And now okay. Bottom, slide it in. And now that we've got the bumper bar and the grille back on, I can see that the gap between the grille and the light on this side is larger than what it is on the right hand side. So need to get this light adjusted. That's looking much better. Alright, the next thing we've got to do is get this window hood latch and just take it. If you're doing this, there's two of these grooves which are sort of larger. You got to line them up with the grooves that are inside the holder. There you go. And now we just got to do up the 5 screws at the top here. And that will be our bumper bar back on. Alright guys, and we've got the bumper bar back on, and tell me, it's looking fantastic. And I'm making a use of my Christmas present. So there's plugs for the halogen light, and that's this one right here. I've got to plug that in. Okay, now I've got the halogen lights plugged in, so let's go turn on the car and get these turned on and just make sure they work. That's one, and that's two. Next thing I want to do is get the windshield wiper sprayers installed along with this cable that needs to get routed inside the hood to 1 and 2 outlets there. So this should be fun. To make the job easier, sometimes the cable just pushes along. Not in this case, unfortunately. Okay. Sprayers, the nozzles themselves, you got to hook up the water, and there's actually electronics attached to this. I'm not sure if it's heated or if there's a little pump or something in there. Not quite sure. I think there's a pump. Maybe it's just heated. Actually click it in, push it in until it clicks. Yeah, that's one. And that's two. So that's our window washers hooked up. Okay, so that's pretty much all the cables that we had at the front, all that's connected up. I think we're good to close the hood and move to other things. I've got those 3 rubber clips in, and now it should be just a simple job of pushing triangular piece in. And that's another thing done. Hey guys, and it's the very next day here at the 4 Wheel Build workshop. After having completed or put together the front of this car, plus some other bits and ends, let's now get onto the back wheel, or back wheels, and get them brakes done. I've got a set of discs and pads, and now just need to get this wheel lifted up, taken off, and then we'll get access to the brakes. I've just started popping up these caps. You should have one of these tools in the back of your, or in a trunk or the boot of your car. Just pop that in like so, and voila, pull it out. You take off the wheel, make sure you put it underneath the car just in case the jack fails and the car drops. Make sure you chock the wheels. Now if you actually have looked at the disc itself, it is really uneven. The brake pads are just about worn out. Release the handbrake, undo the brake fluid reservoir. Undoing the brake reservoir will just allow us to push the brake pad back in a lot easier. And take a look at the disc that I've taken out. But look at the deep groove, and that's the pad that was on there. So have a look at the grooves that it's got on the top and the middle. That's really, the inside one's quite smooth, but the outside one is very, very worn out. Very strange. Now in terms of the actual brake, I needed to take first of all the cable off for the handbrake. Then I needed to undo the caliper, then the caliper bracket. That was because there wasn't enough room just to get to those two bolts that were holding the caliper bracket in place. Now normally they were a hex, now they've changed it into these M14 multi-style, whatever you want to call them. They were really, really tight to actually get off. So I needed to use my persuasion tool, give it a few knocks, and then the bolts came loose. Alright, so let's get a new disc and pads and put them on. So before we start putting anything back on, what you will have to do is actually move this cylinder back to make room to put the new pads in. So you do that with this tool, these two prongs on the end, which need to go into these two slots, and this plate pushes up against here. It's actually twisting the cylinder in, and just like that we've got a cylinder pushed right back, and now we can start mounting, starting off with the actual brake disc. Anytime you put on new brake discs, make sure you wipe them down with some solvents, because they do come with a layer of like oils to prevent it from rusting during transport, and that needs to be wiped off before you put the disc on. And guys, just like that, we have a brand new set of Brembo discs and pads on the rear. We're good to put the wheel back on, and then let's get started on the other side. Whenever I have to redo any brakes, I always go Brembo. Brembo have a very, very good reputation to uphold, and they make some really, really good quality stuff. And I won't bore you with the other side. I'll get it done off camera, and then we can move on to other things. Hey guys, check this out. I've taken off the rear right hand side disc and pads, and check out this disc. This is what I was talking about. Volkswagen, what is this? I mean, there's literally holes in this. I have never, ever seen anything like this. And before we end up, just make sure you close up the master cylinder. So guys, now that we have the rear brakes done on both sides, let's get on to the remaining things, which is the fender liners. So I need to lift up the front, take off this wheel, and get this fender liner removed. I did buy a new one, but let me show you what I got. What I received is this. Now I did order a front Tcross fender liner, and I got something that belongs to
belongs into a Fiat Alfa Romeo or Lancia. This does not look like anything like a Volkswagen Tcross fender liner, so I need to get this returned and replaced. The actual fender liner on the right hand side is not too bad of a state, but well, since we don't actually have an alternate for the moment, let's get this repaired and get it reinstalled. Take a look at this, guys. I've finished the plastic welding. Well, doesn't look pretty but I'm sure it will hold up. So let me maybe take the tape off and let's see how it looks on the other side. Okay guys, and this is how it looks from underneath. It's not perfect, definitely not, but at the same time it's better than what we've got, which is basically nothing. Our fender liner is in, all nicely installed, all fitted up, and guys, I've put that trim on now as well. Look how good that looks. Okay, so the right hand side trim for the front fender I bought brand new. The left one I bought used, and it came in, well, it's got some scratches. So let's see if we can get some heat onto this and get rid of these scratches. And to do this, I'm going to use my trusty heat gun on high setting, and let's see if we can get rid of some of these scratches. And look how good that actually came out. I'm really impressed. Most of those scratches are gone. The deeper ones are, no, they're still a little bit visible, but they don't have this white haze to them, so they're practically invisible. Alright guys, everything is coming along great. I've got the trim installed on the left hand side, fender liner, last piece I guess, which is the under engine floor. Alright guys, and I've got the under engine floor installed. The rear is still not secured because of the fact that I don't actually have the clips that need to go in there.
And in the last moment we've been able to source the required screws and clips to secure the under engine floor shield, whatever you want to call it. Plus, ta-da! And in the last moment also we've been able to get the fender liner or arch liner, whatever you want to call it, replaced. So the company that we bought that through came through very quickly, and we got that sorted out. Alright guys, so the under engine tray has been put back in. So the last thing we've got to do now is take this wheel off and then take this arch lining out and replace it with the replacement. Guys, and check this out. A few minutes later, we've got the new old fender added. The floor is added. Just put the wheel back on. And guys, this car is practically finished. The next thing to do is just go to the mechanic, get the areas reset, and get the aircon filled up. Well, and plus obviously we've got to change the tyres over to all season tyres just to make sure that we can use it in winter as well. Alright, well, let's get this wheel back on, and that'll be it for today.
Weeks of work, countless hours, and it's finally done.
the 2021 Volkswagen Tcross project rebuilt from the ground up. Every bolt, every panel, every moment, it was worth it. From wrecked to reborn, the Tcross lives again.
Alright guys, so that's another project done. The 2021 Volkswagen Tcross is now fully finished. The wife is happy, I'm happy. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed this series. If you did, consider leaving me a like, leave me a comment. Always love reading your comments, and help me grow my channel by subscribing. Anyway, I'll see you guys in next episode. Peace.